I'm Sophie and I'm the director of The Joyful, and today I'm joined by Ben Johnson from 10% Better. And we're going to be talking you through a 3-part video series around how to price yourself and how to stop begging for work. So today, the first one that we're going to be looking at is how to stop begging for work. Ben, I know that you have had some first-hand experience of the realization of when you suddenly were like, I've been begging for work my whole career. Can you tell us a bit about that experience and what happened?
Sure. Well, very good to be here. Thanks for having me, Sophie.
Yes,
I think it's kind of interesting that you kind of pulled this out first, this idea of begging for work, because I think actually many of us go around begging for work and are pretty blind to it. I think my realization that you spoke to was early on in running my last company. I owned and run was a design business, experience design business. And, we did what kind of many people do, which is, you're constantly going around, you're looking for work, you're super keen, lots of enthusiasm, lots of optimism, kind of really positive, meeting as many people as you can, having as many conversations as you can. In many respects, just trying to get whatever you can, because that's obviously the pressure that many of us kind of work under, not unreasonably, this kind of need for work, a desire for work, a hunger for work. And actually, there's quite a sort of fine line between each of those things. But I think the real realization for me was, so early on in running that business, like I said, we did what many people did. We met lots and lots of people. We would have lots and lots of really positive, hopeful conversations with prospective clients. These clients were kind of big companies. We'd be talking broadly around kind of various creative concepts and things, the work that we might do for them. And we'd have all of these positive conversations, and at some point in the conversation, obviously we would get round to money, like what we charge, how much does it cost, and we took the view, which kind of many people do, and actually almost everybody does, which is it was better not to charge very much to get a relationship going, and when you get the relationship going, you can grow it from there. So best to kind of get in, show you what we can do. And so we'd have all of these conversations. The conversation would come around to money. We would take that view that it was better to do that, and we'd offer something along the line, give us effectively words to the effect of, give us a couple of thousand, give us a couple of grand, we'll show you what we can do and we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. And sort of time after time, mainly, these conversations, after all of that positivity, all of that optimism, all that opportunity or seeming opportunity, would sort of fizzle out and it would come to nothing. And this kind of felt like it was happening over and over and over again. Until one day I was in another one of these conversations, again, a kind of big client, would have been great to work with. Same thing happened, lots of possibility, lots of opportunity, same thing, get to the point about how much do you charge, what does it cost? And with no real kind of plan or insight or design on my part, rather than taking the it cost a few grand approach, I just said it cost 45,000. And a really interesting thing happened, that the client bought it straight away. We were talking about creative concepts. There was no quibble, no conversation, no discussion, just a great, let's do it. And so a couple of things happened as a consequence of doing that. One, we started to kind of price ever more confidently, ever more sort of courageously in many respects. And more clients bought. We just became much, much easier to buy. And so all of the kind of feeling that had been there before of meeting all of these people, which actually kind of feels a bit like kind of pushing water uphill, totally kind of evaporated. It kind of went away. We went from winning a few to winning many, all because of really this kind of accidental twist, if you like, an accidental change of putting our prices up by 20 times, which is effectively what we did.
And it's interesting because I'm sure people watching this would be thinking like, well, how can you just go from being 2 grand to being 40 plus grand? Mm-hmm. Like, for me anyway, when I first heard your story, my thought was like, but I'm not worth that. Mm. And I think that's actually the point that you're trying to make, isn't it? Is when we say begging for work, what we're actually saying is that you're telling your potential client that you're not worth mm-hmm. what you are actually worth. So how did that realization change the way that you did business?
It's very, very well put, because essentially what we're doing when we are begging for work is that we're saying to ourselves, maybe not using these words, help me out, do me a favor, let me show you that I'm kind of worth it. And that's actually a really difficult thing for people to buy. when you kind of flip it around and you start from the kind of place of courage and confidence, and you kind of believe that you are worth it, actually it's much easier, much safer for people to work with you. So you are making it easier for them to engage you in doing that. And, you know, the amounts that we're talking are not so important, whether it's 45,000 or 4,500 or whatever it might be. It is all about really the confidence with which you come to these situations and how much confidence you're projecting really to the people who you want to work with, which is really about how easy it is or not for them, or how safe it is for them to make a decision to want to work with you.
So how would you know then if you were begging for work?
It's a good question how you would know you were begging for work. I think everybody, you know, I guess if I asked a question to you or asked a question of the audience, you know, can you see yourself in this situation where you're having lots of these conversations, you're meeting lots of people, you're kissing a lot of frogs, but there don't seem to be a lot of princes starting up. There's no prince. There's a lot of frogs, few princes. I think if you kind of are finding yourself in that situation, then almost certainly what you're actually doing is because, you know, you are begging for work. And so I think just asking yourself the question, am I in this position of kissing a lot of frogs? Do I recognize this to my situation too? And I think if you do, you will probably find that just a lot about how you're engaging with clients, how you're talking to them, how you're putting yourself out there is more from the point of view of, please do me a favor by giving me this work.
Great. Okay. So to summarize then, because this leads really lovely into our next video in the series, which is all around how you actually go about putting your prices up. So to summarize about begging for work and how we just stop right now, tomorrow, or right this second after you finish watching this video, no more begging for work. How would I do that?
Yeah, so with all of this is a lot about confidence, of course. And the thing that changes your confidence is, you know, it's a journey, isn't it? But the first and most important thing is a commitment to engaging with the market in a different way. And one of the things that I would say is you are actually making it harder for your prospective clients to choose you when you're coming at your work from this kind of negative point. You will make it easier for them to choose you if you engage with them confidently. So I guess the answer to how you do this, in some respects, I can't tell you how, I can just tell you that you must. When you try and you make the commitment to trying, the feedback that you will get to yourself instantaneously will give you the courage to continue. So all I can do is implore you to make that first move.
Yeah, give it a try. And it's also one of those, you know, confidence in my experience is, first of all, kind of starts out as a choice. Just choose today. Oh, I might not feel it, but I'm going to do something that shows it. And then once you start to get that feedback loop, you start to feel it more and more and more.
Exactly.
So just do it. No more begging for work. And then the feedback loop will show you how much you really are valued.
And I promise you that feedback, you will feel that feedback loop on day one. So the day you commit to doing it, you will feel that feedback loop on day one. That's my promise.
Oh, Ben Johnson, 10% better. You will feel the feedback loop on day one.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Ben. And thank you for watching. Please do join us for part 2 of our three-part Money Matters series, where we will be discussing how to put your prices up. We'll see you there.